So let me go to the example. So basically మనం LVM ఆర్కిటెక్చర్కి వచ్చేటప్పటికి ఓకే సో బేసికలీ LVM ఆర్కిటెక్చర్ మనం ఏం చేసాము సో వీ క్రియేటెడ్ విత్ ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ రా డిస్క్ పైన మనం పీవీస్ అనేవి క్రియేట్ చేసాము, దాని మీద వీజీ అనేది క్రియేట్ చేసుకున్నాము, దాని మీద ఎల్వి క్రియేట్ చేశాను, దాని తర్వాత ఫైల్ సిస్టమ్ అనేది మౌంట్ చేశాను. ఓకే సో దీస్ ఆర్ ద జనరల్ స్టెప్స్ అనేవి మనం పర్ఫామ్ చేసాము. సో దిస్ ఈజ్ అబౌట్ హార్డ్ డిస్క్, ఇది మన పీవీ, సో ఇది మన వీజీ, ఓకే ఇది మన ఎల్విఎం, ఓకే సో ఇది వచ్చి మనము ఫైల్ సిస్టమ్ లేక ఎంకేఎఫ్ఎస్. సో దీనిపైన మనము మౌంట్ అనేది చేసాం. సో దీస్ ఆర్ ద జనరల్ స్టెప్స్. సో ఈ స్టెప్స్ అనేవి ఇఫ్ యూ ఆర్ గోయింగ్ ఫర్ ద లాంగ్ టర్మ్ ప్రాసెస్, అంటే ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ మనకి మోస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ద టైమ్స్ ఎలా ఉంటుందంటే ఒక పర్టికులర్గా ఆర్కిటెక్ట్ అనేవాడు ఉంటాడు. ఎవ్రీ కంపెనీ విల్ బీ హ్యావింగ్ ద వన్ ఆర్కిటెక్ట్. ఈ ఆర్కిటెక్ట్ అనేవాడు ఏం చేస్తాడంటే ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ లెట్ ఇట్ బి మనం ఒక ప్రాజెక్ట్ స్టార్ట్ చేస్తున్నాము. క్లయింట్ వచ్చి నాకు ఏం చేశాడు, నాకు ఒక 40 సర్వర్స్ కావాలి, ఈ పర్టికులర్ కాంబినేషన్తో కావాలి, దిస్ ఈజ్ ద పర్పస్ అండ్ నీడ్, ఇది అప్లికేషన్ నీడ్ అని చెప్తాడు. చెప్పినప్పుడు ఆ ఆర్కిటెక్ట్ ఏం చేస్తాడు, దే విల్ కన్స్ట్రక్ట్ ద రోడ్ మ్యాప్, అంటే లాంగ్ టర్మ్ ప్రాసెస్సా షార్ట్ టర్మ్ ప్రాసెస్సా అనేది అనాలిసిస్ చేసి లాంగ్ టర్మ్ ప్రాసెస్ ప్రకారము తను ఈ రకంగా క్రియేట్ చేస్తాడు. ఈ లాంగ్ టర్మ్ ప్రాసెస్లో క్రియేట్ చేసినప్పుడు ఏమవుతుంది, ఎల్విఎం ఈజ్ బేసికలీ ఫర్ ద లాంగ్ టర్మ్ ప్రాసెస్, అంటే మనము ఫ్యూచర్లో కూడా మనము ఉపయోగించేలాగా మినిమం ఒక 4 to 5 years మనకు కంటిన్యూస్ సపోర్ట్ ఉండేలాగా మనము ప్లాన్ చేసే దాంట్లో ఎల్విఎం ఆర్కిటెక్చర్ అనేది ఒకటి. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ లాంగ్ టర్మ్ ప్రాసెస్లో ఇది ఏ రకంగా ఎస్టాబ్లిష్ చేస్తామనేది ప్రీవియస్ క్లాసెస్లో చూసాము. సో ఇప్పుడు షార్ట్ టర్మ్ ప్రాసెస్ అంటే ఏంటి, బేసిక్లీ ద క్లయింట్ ఈజ్ లుకింగ్ ఫర్ వెరీ సమ్ స్పెసిఫిక్ నీడ్ ఓన్లీ, అంటే పీవీస్ అనేవి క్రియేట్ చేసాము అండ్ హియర్ క్లయింట్ ఈజ్ హీ డోంట్ వాంట్ టు బి ఫీచర్స్ ఆఫ్ యువర్ ఆల్ ద నేచర్. అంటే ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఇది మన హార్డ్ డిస్క్, ఈ హార్డ్ డిస్క్ మీద పీవీ అనేది క్రియేట్ చేశాను, పీవీ మీద ఏం చేశాను, ఐఎమ్ డైరెక్ట్లీ క్రియేటింగ్ ద ఎంకేఎఫ్ఎస్ అండ్ మౌంట్ అనేది చేశాను. సో దిస్ ఈజ్ ద షార్ట్ టర్మ్ ప్రాసెస్ అంటారు. ఈ షార్ట్ టర్మ్ ప్రాసెస్ వల్ల బెనిఫిట్స్ ఏంటి, వీ డోంట్ వాంట్ టు బి ప్లేస్ అగైన్ ఎంటైర్ సెటప్ ఇన్ టు ద ఆర్కిటెక్చర్. ఓకే అది ఫస్ట్ పాయింట్. సెకండ్ పాయింట్ వచ్చి ఏంటి, ఇక్కడ మనకు జర్నలింగ్ అనే ఒక మేజర్ కాన్సెప్ట్ అనేది ఉంటుంది, ఇక్కడ జర్నలింగ్ అనే కాన్సెప్ట్ అనేది ఉండదు. సో దట్ ఈస్ ద సెకండరీ థింగ్. అండ్ మోర్ ఓవర్ సో వెన్ యూ కమింగ్ టు ద నేచర్ ఆఫ్ వర్క్ మనకేమవుతుంది, సో హియర్ majorly we are supporting for the so majorly if you are going for the long term process means we are going with the LVM architecture. So in short term process it's totally depending upon the need. For example there is a one requirement, the client is planning for the one migration activity. Okay so the migration activity is that for example he is multiple servers. So he is having the multiple servers. These particular servers, they want to do the some sort of the copy, and a copy or some sort of activity they are performing from the Oracle side or some application side. So the requirement is that he want to connect the particular device to the server and he want to perform the some sort of actions, maybe for the temporary storage device. So the temporary file system he is using, let it be /tmp is the one of the file system he is using for the temporarily to store the data. The purpose is that maybe for the 1 week or 2 weeks or 1 month or 2 months, he want to store the data and he will delete the data, whatever he stored. That is for the temporary purpose only. So 1 minute. So that is he store for the temporary purpose only. So now the requirement is that if you want to store for the temporary purpose means how we can do it. Let me see that LSBLK. So this is our block devices. Okay. So now again the same architecture. This is the my server. Go to the edits, settings. So this is master. Okay. Settings. I'm creating the 5 GB of space. So here I don't want any features of the journaling. Here I don't want any features of the whatever the LVM is providing. The purpose is very simple. I want to use it for the some temporary being nothing but I want to use it for the temporarily. LSBLK command. So when you trigger the LSBLK command, here it is not listing the 5 GB of your hard disk. So that's the same thing. We need to go with the for command. So for is the one of the command majorly we are using for the rescanning of devices. So the scanning of devices is a very important. SCSI devices we are calling as a SCSI devices. So the purpose of the SCSI devices means every storage will be allocating the some space to the server. So from the storage level, that particular disk we are restarting from the server end. Here we are not rebooting anything. Okay, here we are not performing any kind of disturbing activity. Just we are refreshing the channel. So in production environment also, if you trigger this command, nothing will be happen. If the already server is live, it is up and running, no disturbance will be happening. Just we are like a F5 command, like a refresh command type we are doing. So now the 5 GB is listed out. So what is the step? PV create. First of all, PVS, row PVs are there. PV create /dev /SDA. I want to create a PV. PVS. PV scan is the one of the command just to scan the entire PV once again to make it as a up to date. So PV scan, PVS is listed. So general process is what? In general process, this is the first one, PV creation. After that we are creating the BG and LV, MKFS, mount band. So coming to here, what we are going to do it, we are going to perform the nothing but PV creation is completed. Now I am skipping the this entire two architectures. Means VG, LV, I am skipping same time. So I am directly going to the MKFS. So MKFS dot let it be EXT4. So where I need to create /dev /SDA. So file system is created. Now I need to go for the mounting. Mounting will be happening by using the mount /dev /SDA/app. So app is not there. So let me create app mkdir PMP, let it be, I'm creating the directory name PMP-dir. Okay, so mount /dev /sda /tmp hyphen dir. So I mounted the file system. So this is exactly the requirement it is. Nothing but now the client is looking for the to store the data. He wants the one file system. I created the file system. Whatever the system is he is looking, I created the file system. I'm not providing the any kind of the features of journaling. So in interview questions also, the interviewer will ask you the question. So what is the basic difference between the adding the raw data file system or LVM based or non-LVM based? LVM based basically providing the features of LVM whatever supporting. Means what are the features? Journaling, dynamic allocation, dynamic expansions. We can do it by using the LVM and without any downtime. Without any downtime. So non-LVM based is nothing but dynamic expansions. We cannot do it that much of easily. That is a very risky job. Secondary thing is that and we are allocating nothing but we are not providing the any kind of journaling mechanism here. And moreover, the purpose of the non-LVM based is very simple. Maybe we are using for the time being a temporary purpose. So temporary purpose we are using for the particular mechanism we are calling as non-LVM based. Hope it's clear. Any doubts? Doubts, ma'am? Anyone want repeat or anything? Hope it's clear. Because LVM is a very important. Honestly, you will get the 2 to 3 interview questions at the time of any interview. Okay. Okay, no problem. So let me
Pavan,
proceed.
only
Yeah,
one question. But this temporary LVM, there is no much steps because we can only two more steps we can do it right. For even
correct.
temporary purpose also we can use as LVM, right?
If you want
Any
to create,
difference?
for example, just thinking in this way, you are constructing some home. Okay.
Okay.
So at the usually when you're constructing some time moment of the time, people are creating the some temporary storage areas like a temporary room to place the some like a what the hardware material and everything. That is not for the long term process. Okay. So at the moment of the time they don't want to be creating with the basement, high end basement, everything and all. Simply they are creating the one kind of the shed they are placing the phone. Okay. For example, that is one side of area. Let it be you have already set up nothing but you already home, you are having the ground floor, you are establishing for the first floor. Now you have a good amount of room is there. Now in this time you are going with LVM base. That is totally your choice. Whether you are going with LVM based or non LVM based. For example, in this example, okay, this particular PV is a we are going with a non-LVM based. Since the client said that I need only for the 1 week or 10 days. Let it be, we can take another scenario if you want to go with a LVM based. For example, here we are having whenever we are creating any operating system or LVM, root VG will be there and another one we are creating the one more VG also. Right, one more VG also we are creating. So when you are going with the planning with the temporary purpose, don't add with the existing VG. You can create a separate VG, nothing but like a VG temp, LVM temp, like that. Now don't attach with the existing mechanism because what exactly the problem will happening is whenever you want to be, you don't want this future, you don't want this particular LVM, you want to remove the entire architecture whatever you add. In that time If we are added to the existing architecture, your operating system may lose the data. Your file system may lose the data. So the purpose is very simple. If you want to go with LVM based means create a PV. Okay, so it should be very simple like this. For example, create /dev /sda. Your PV is created. Here, usually general process is that we are going with a vg extend command. We are attaching to the existing. Right now, I am not attaching. Vg create. Okay, let it be vg/tmp. Maybe I am using the name convention called /tmp /dev/sda. So I'm creating the separate VZ here, and I'm creating the LV create -l, let it be 5 GB -n LVTMP. Okay, from /dev/sda. From then I'm creating the file system mkfs dot, let it be EXT4 /dev /mapper / what is the name, like vg -tmp -lv -tmp. So the purpose is very clear here. So when this is the LVM base, nothing but you are looking for the some 5 months or 6 months of the tenure, and you are looking for the journaling. So the client is bothering about, though it is a temporary also, I need a journaling. Then you are going with this feature. There is nothing harm. Okay, you are not paying extra 1 rupee to the anyone. You can go with a LVM based, and your vendor also support. If any problem will come also, they will support. Vendor means who? Your Red Hat, Ubuntu, Fedora, these are the companies. Okay, so you created. So once you done with your process, let it be once 6 months is completed. So the purpose of the creation is very clear now. Now the client is planning to remove the entire architecture. So in that time, if we are make it as a separate body, it will be very easy to remove it. If we are attaching to the existing body, so we need to go with a planned mechanism. Maybe unnecessarily you are disturbing the existing mechanism. So that is the reason you can go with the LVM based or non-LVM based. That is any feature we can go with that one. That is totally depending upon the client wish. Hope it's clear. Any doubt?
Yes, sir.
So if you are going with LVM based means these are the commands. If you are going with a non-LVM based means only 2 commands. Okay. So next the thing is that there is one more thing we need to be discussed. So what is that? Okay. So now purpose is that you have your hard disk. On top of your hard disk, okay, the requirement is that you create a PVs.
బ్రష్ చేసుకోపో నువ్వు అందుకనే జాగ్రత్త ఉన్నాను.
You created a PVs. So on top of your PVs, you created a volume group and LVM. So volume group, LVM. So LVM here you created with a separate file system. Let it be here I'm creating the mkfs.ext4. Okay, so and here you are mounting. So this is a general architecture of your LVM. So now the requirement is that, so in production environment, there is a lot of the circumstances. The client come up with a feature. For example, maybe at the time of the creation of your server, the client decided that as of now he can go with the EXT4 mechanism. EXT4 mechanism he can go with that one. Okay. So after some time, the client decided that I want to move it from the EXT4 to XFS. Nothing but he want to change the file system EXT4 to XFS. EXT4 to the XFS or vice versa, XFS to EXT4, because as a part of the cost cutting they want to do the changes into the architectural level. So once they taken a decision, they will come up with a requirement. So the general process is that we are using the two-step policy. Two-step policy. One is that as a general process, okay, we won't recommend direct file system changes, nothing but XFS to EXT4. So what we support? We support create parallel file system and migrate the data. So second step is that second way we can convert from EXT4 to XFS, but we may lose the data and data as it changes into architect level. So the purpose is very simple. For example, in the first stage we are discussing about, for example, I want to create nothing but already my file system is with the EXT4. I want to do the changes into the EXT4 to the XFS mechanism. So at the time of changing the XFS mechanism, there is some data will be disturbance will be going to be happening. So the entire architecture, see, simple way, you people are having the mobile called Android operating system. You people are having the, let it be Apple. Apple is a something Apple operating system. Now the requirement is that the user want to convert your Apple operating system into the Android. Your Android to the Apple OS means cross platform he want to do it, nothing but migration of architecture. See, at the time of doing the migration, the existing architecture may corrupt and the data will going to be lose it. So that is a generally not an existing or not a recommended process. Now the client requirement is very simple. The client requirement is that he want to create the one particular PV, let it be /app. This particular PV is a or particular file system, it is the EXT4 mechanism. Okay. Now the client requirement is that he want to make this file system into the XFS mechanism. So in the first stage, what we are doing, we are not disturbing the existing mechanism. Again, we are creating one more PV. We are creating the VZ. We are creating the LV, and we are creating the new file system with the XFS mechanism. After we completed, you copy the data from the old to new. So, and then you are removing the old one. So this is the safest way of execution, because production environment data is very important. We don't want to be disturb the production data at any cost. So this is the safest way. No, the client is looking for the go with a mechanism conversion only means, yes, we can go with that one. But we are giving the disclaimer, we are not responsible for the data. If the data is something is happened, means we are not at all responsible for anything. So here what you are going to do it, nothing but you are directly converting this step. We can use the one command, we can complete it, but the data will going to be lost. So in my current example, we are going to take up the two scenarios. One scenario is the creation of the parallel and the releasing of the existing thing, and the second one is that creation of the conversion process. Both of them we can do it. So let me complete here df-th slash tmp. So right now this is a file system with a EXT4 mechanism. Okay, the file system with the EXT4 mechanism, and it is not a LVM based. It is not a LVM based. So right now my requirement is that let me go to the inside of the data. Okay, I'm creating some data here. Test1, test2, test3, test4, test5, test6. So I'm creating the some data into the my current working directory /tmp dir. So now the requirement is very simple. The client requirement is that we want to convert the ext4 file system to XFS file system. So as I said you earlier, first we are going with the parallel mechanism. Parallel mechanism, how we can go means, okay, so first of all we are not disturbing the existing data. For example, whatever the file system is there, I'm going to request the new file system or new LUN. The 5 GB is there, right? So I'm expecting one more 5 GB from the storage team. So I taken the 5 GB of the space. So I taken the 5 GB of the space from the client. So here the thing is that SDA is an existing mechanism where the file system is created with a /tmp dir. Okay, now without disturbing this one, what I'm going to do it, I'm creating the separate file system. Okay, after creating the separate file system, I'm copying the data of existing data to other data. This is the nature of the work. So how we are going to perform this one? So first of all, I need to go with the for command. So here the new file system I requested to the storage team. They provided the 5 GB. I'm taking the same value, or you may go with a higher value also as per the need. /dev sdb. New file system is created. Now mkfs dot xfs /dev /sdb. I'm making the file system. Okay, so let it be. I'm creating one more directory /tmp dir 1. I'm creating mount /dev /sdb /tmp dir 1. So here the 5 GB of the file system I created successfully, okay, with XFS mechanism. Earlier it was a EXT4. Right now both of them are available. So my requirement is here. Here still my requirement is not completed. The requirement is that you want to create the /tmp dir, but I created /tmp dir 1. So here, first of all, I will move the copy of the data from the existing data to /tmpdir. So cp star /tmp dir 1. So I'm just copying the data here. Okay, so whatever the data is there, I'm just copying the data to the new file system. So just I copied the data. Once I copied the data, the next step is that we need to do the changes into the file system name convention, because the client is looking the very clear /tmpdir is the file system type. This particular type he want to change it, but whatever I created the parallel mechanism, that is with the /dir1, means this name convention need to change. For example, this is if not changing, means let it be application team is using the /tmpdir into their applications. So at the moment of the time, the client will be facing the issue. Nothing but they are not able to connect. They are facing the lot of connectivity issues. So that is the reason. Make sure that you use the same file system at the any moment of the time. So let it be how to do the changes. So first of all, umount. Umount is the command for the unmounting of file system. So I'm just unmounting a file system. Okay, so this will unmount the file system. Again umount. Okay, I will unmount the both file system. So why I am unmounting means I want to change it, the name convention. So for example, like this /dev/sdb, we are now converting into the /tmpdir. The name convention I'm changed. So don't bother about the data. The data is already there into the directory. Okay, just we renamed the, nothing but we changed the directory name only. So now file system is updated and it is updated with a clear data. So here, if you coming to the requirement, the parallel mechanism is very simple. Nothing but we are not overwriting of any data. First of all, we are creating the separate PV. And if you are going with LVM based, we are going with LVM based. If not, we are directly creating the MKFS. So coming to here, here we are going with a LVM based. Sorry, here we are not going with a any LVM based, directly I created. So for example, if we are going with a non-LVM based also, we can perform this one. So this is the safest method of accessing the data. Here little bit of delay will be happening, but production loss is not going to be happen. For example, let it be now the client said that I don't want all the stuff, I need to do it whatever I said, nothing but let it be XFS4 to nothing but EXT4. The conversion you have to be doing. So if you want to perform the any type of the conversion, okay, first of all make sure that you have to take the backup of the file system. The backup of the file system you have to be taken. Okay, so the backup of the file system is very important if you are converting the data into the file system side. So now what we are going to do, it means PVS. So right now we have already /dev/db is there. Directly we are going with a mkfs dot ext4 sdbb. So want to perform this one means, first of all, you need to unmount the file system. After unmounting, mkfs dot ext4 hyphen f. So file system, you can see that here HDBB contains a XFS file system. Proceed anyway. Yes. So this is a kind of the allocation. Sometimes if the data will going to be corrupted. So let it be. Now I change the file system. So if you can see that here, slash dev sdb xfs. So this is earlier with xfs file system slash tmpdir. Now this is ext4 file system with a thing. But the thing is that what about the data? What about the data? Data is not there. This will be having the some data, right? Earlier, this is having the some data. Test 1, test 2, some data is there. Now entire data is lost. So that is it. In production environment, we are not directly recommending to expansion of these things into directly. So we are going with a step-by-step mechanism. We are not directly going with the execution of the thing with immediate purpose. Okay. Any doubts? Any doubts? You understand the requirement of conversion. For example, in interview, if the person is asked the questions, I want to convert the file system ext2 to the XFS or XFS to ext4. Which one is the recommended? Or what is the steps you are following? If the question is asked to you, means will you be answer that one? Rahman అర్థమైందా? వెంకట్. సో ఏ రికమెండ్ చేస్తావు నువ్వు?
ఆల్టర్నేట్ లెవెల్లో చేస్తాం బ్రో. ఇంకో డిస్కస్ తీసుకొని
So the parallel mechanism is always the best to go, right? So whenever the interviewer asks, so you are in a position to explain into the both of the situations, not the single question, single answer, because you are proving as a one of the experienced guy. So you need to showcase that, okay, you are having the experience, you have a good amount of experience, you already exhibited. So you are in a position to explain that if you are going with a parallel mechanism, okay, what is the benefits? If you are going with a conversion of directly, so what is going to be happening? Means plus or minus, both you are in a position to explain the things. So that is a very important, you need to be explained into the production environment. Okay, so here we are going with the LVM based or non-LVM based, that is totally our choice. Okay, so we are not expecting everything should be with LVM based or non-LVM based on your company, based on your client architecture, the things will be changes here. But we are not bothering about LVM or particular non-LVM. We are explaining about file system architectural wise. File system side, if you want to do the conversion, means how we can do it. File system side, if we want to go with a parallel mechanism, means how we can go it. So that is a kind of the nature of the work we define into the long term goal, not for the short term goal. Okay, so this is a way most of the times the client, whenever you are coming with the real time examples, they won't give the buffer space to you, listen your skills and all. They will forcefully ask you to do it, just to do it. So that is the reason in production environment always we need to be very make sure that you need to have a good amount of experience or analytic powers. Analytically, you are in a position to understand the requirement. If not, the client will force you, okay, unnecessarily, because your client may not be technical, don't know, right? So if the technical guy means not an issue. If the non-technical guy means unnecessarily, we need to get the lot of the issues from him. So hope it's clear. ఏమైనా డౌట్స్ ఉన్నాయా? శ్రవణ్ గారు అర్థమైందండి? So there is a one more mechanism is there. Okay, so with that we are going to be wind up the LVM. So our mechanism enti ante, so we are discussing about migration of LVM. So this is a totally L3 activity. Okay, it is not a L2, or most of the times L2 also will falls into that one, but very rarely. But just be understanding of this architecture is a very important. It will help you a lot into the production environment. So migration of the PV. Simply, I'm just explaining the scenario today, and tomorrow we are going to be perform the functionally. The architecture is that, for example, let it be you have a one hard disk, okay, or you are a physical server, whatever the bare metal server is there. So this bare metal server, so we have a two PVs are there. Okay, so this is the PV of, let it be, this is the IBM product. Okay, so this is the PV with the, okay, EMC storage. So these are two different storage devices are there. So two different storage devices we taken from the storage system. So you requested for the storage device, the team is provided the two storage devices. Now on top of that you created the volume group. Okay, so again after that you are creating the LVMs. You are creating the LVM1, LVM2. You created the LVM1 and LVM2. So once you created LVM1 and LVM2, okay, so on top of that again the same process, you are creating the file system and mountpad. So this is the general architecture. Now there is a kind of the requirement. So every company will be having the contract with the specific vendors. Let it be my company is having the contract with IBM and the EMC. So as per the contract renewal time, the company is not renewed with the IBM. So they usually taken the 1 year of agreement. After 1 year of agreement, this is not complete, nothing but they are not renewed the particular thing. So automatically what exactly is happening, the entire services is not going to be coming from the IBM is stopped. Now requirement is that the company is decided that they don't want to be go with the IBM, they want to go with the EMC only, or maybe they taken the new storage device instead of IBM. Let it be this is a different storage device like NetApp. Just think that this is one of the NetApp device. He had a contract with the NetApp. So from that command, he planning to do it. Now the requirement is that whatever the data is there with the IBM, since the contract is completed, whatever the data is there with IBM, entirely I need to move it to the new file system. means this is what we are calling PV. This PV can need to move it to the new file system, means we have a technically how it will be happening means slash dev slash sda is having the one PV, that PV name call, let it be PV hyphen IBM, capacity of 10 GB. Okay, so another requirement is slash dev slash, the new file system is called SDC. This is also one of the PV. The requirement is called PV hyphen data. So this is a 20 GB. Okay. Now the requirement is that PV move. PV move is one of the command. So this will help you to migrate the PV from the one place to other place. So PV move slash dev slash SDA to slash dev slash SDC. So here by this command, your PV, whatever the PV hyphen IBM will be there, right? It is moving from the source to, what is the source? SDA to SDC. So this PV move command is nothing but we are not performing any downtime. We can perform online only. Okay, no data loss will be happening. So this is one of the major process which we are using into the L3 activities. But understanding of nature of work is very important. So tomorrow what we are going to do it, we are creating the two parallel LVM process with one 10 GB, another with a 20 GB. We are creating the entire architecture, and after that we are moving the PV move. Once we done the PV move through the online, okay, so what we are going to do it now, companies decided to remove the IBM also, right? So you need to remove the LV, you need to reduce the VG. So there is some of the commands will be there, nothing but LV reduce, VG reduce, PV reduce. So these are the commands we need to do it as a part of housekeeping or decommission process. So then only we can able to clear the our file system architecture. So this entire thing, how we can perform, what is the purpose of that, everything we can tomorrow we can discuss. We have already architectural diagram is there, migration steps also there. Maybe by the time tomorrow you people are coming back to the class, please go through the document, and this document will be consisting of all the steps with the practicals. Maybe you can try for the planning for the one execution also. So everything in handy document is there, you can try and you can see the changes whatever you are doing. Maybe if you not fail also, it's not an issue. So attempt is a very important. Okay, so with this we are going to wind up the LVM. Okay, so there is some sort of the additional troubleshooting, so we are going to do it if the file system is corrupted, what we are going to do it. So like a FSCK, that is also if possible tomorrow we are going to discuss, or we are attaching that particular topic into the troubleshootings we will discuss into the real time world. Okay, so this is all about LVM. So in today class, anyone having any doubts? How to convert the file system EXT4 to XFS, XFS to EXT4? What is the general process will be there? What is the methodology? What are the steps we are following? How to create a nothing but raw disk, and what is the purpose of that? So any doubts on that one? Any doubts unnaya? Okay. So if no doubts, please be practice. So I'm explaining once again tomorrow before coming to the class. Please go through the topic of the migration of the LVM and the understanding of. So you have to spend a quality of time on these things. LVM is a very important. You will get a questions from in interviews. Okay. Please be practice. And tomorrow we are going to discuss on this one. Okay. So after this one we are going to the user management. After that we are going to the sum of patching and everything. That is individual topics will be there as per the agenda. Okay.